Alright guys, we're Rob Russell here, and today I'm upstairs and I'm going to be reviewing WrestleMania 41 Sunday. Yes, WrestleMania Part 2 was last night. It was not as long as Night 1, it was about half an hour shorter, but it was still, a long evening. I got to bed about 4 o'clock after reading, various things on the show, which I tend to do after these wrestling shows. I tend to have a little read up of things before I sort of process my review. I've had a little listen to part of The Observer as well this morning, so I know some other people's thoughts on the show. But I guess, after reviewing WrestleMania Saturday, I think what I said was Night 2 looks better. And it's got more matches that I am personally interested in. It's got more matches on the show that I personally think could be great. And I guess we shall see. So, WrestleMania 41 Sunday kicked off with Stephanie McMahon in the ring, and she this time introduced us all to WrestleMania. She said we are all family, and she introduced us all to WrestleMania, and we got the great video package. Then we had the opening match of the show, the Women's World Championship match, as Io Sky defended against Bianca Belair, the Elimination Chamber winner, and Rhea Ripley. So, the build for this match has been pretty much the same as the WrestleMania 20 Triple Threat match with Benoit, Triple H, and Shawn Michaels. Basically, Benoit wins the Rumble, HBK thinks he's entitled to a match, just signs the contract. It's basically what Rhea's done here. Io came out first, which didn't really like. I hate it when the champion comes out first. Bianca came out with a bunch of women doing skipping stuff. That was kind of cool. And Rhea Ripley came out. I don't think she got a special entrance. No, I don't think so. It was Damian Priest who got a special entrance. So all the women came out. The crowd super into this matchup. And at the bell, it was about Bianca and Rhea. And it was about Io not being the focal point of this story. And Bianca and Rhea are pointing at each other and they're shouting at each other. And Io just basically does a comeback on the pair of them straight away. She does a drop kick to the pair of them. This match, she does a blockbuster off the top rope to the pair of them. This match, I'll just say it now, was fucking insane. This was one of the best triple threat matches you will ever see. It went about 15 minutes, and these women used every single second of those 15 minutes. There was not a breath, there was not a moment where something wasn't happening, and it was absolutely flawless. I've not talked about any of the moves yet, really, but it was an absolutely flawless match. There were near falls and stuff, obviously. Io did a springboard moonsault to the outside on Rhea Ripley. Bianca Belair hit a 450 splash on Io for a near fall. Rhea Ripley would eventually hit a riptide on Bianca for a near fall. She would then pick up Io Sky and go for a top rope riptide. Io would counter that into a head scissor. Io would counter a second riptide standing up into a DDT. Bianca, after that head scissor, would KOD Io Sky. That would get broken up by Rhea Ripley. Rhea Ripley hit like a great big boo. Io's doing all of this great stuff. She goes for an over the moonsault at one point, and Rhea gets her feet up, and Io Sky just goes to the other end of the ring. It was absolutely bloody brilliant. Io gets oh crikey, it's so hard to explain. Io towards at the end of the matchup, I'll just talk about the finish. At the end of the matchup, Rhea slams Io face first into the post, so she's lying on top of the post, and Rhea is hit with a KOD by Bianca Belair after she hits her with a massive hair whip with the braid. Hits with a KOD. As she covers, Io does an over the moonsault onto Bianca Belair. 1, 2, 3. The same finish that Io won the NXT title with all the way back at NXT In Your House in 2020 finishes this match here. Io Sky retains the world title. I'm so happy she did, because she has been an afterthought in this feud. And this match, though, nothing, not an afterthought at all. Absolutely fucking phenomenal. Phenomenal. Like, I haven't talked about the moves enough, but there was 15 minutes and there was not a break. There was my favourite spot of the whole matchup might have been when Bianca Belair had done like the moonsault, handspring moonsault thing and all that, and she went for a leapfrog over Rhea Ripley, and Rhea Ripley just booed her out of midair. It was so perfect. It was so well timed. Everything these women did was perfect. Like, these were, on this day, at this moment, the three best women wrestlers in the world. And Io Sky made herself number one. So yesterday, when I was talking about Tiffany Stratton and Charlotte, how it didn't compare to some of the other classic women's matches we've had at Mania, like Charlotte and Rhea, like Bayley and Io, this match here was the opposite. I think this was the best women's match in WWE history. I think it was. I don't want to swear again. It was phenomenal. You need to see this match. 5 stars. It was so obvious to me after finishing this match that it was 5 stars. It was like, that was 5 stars. Like, it wasn't even close. Like, it was Io, unbelievable. Bianca, unbelievable. Rhea, unbelievable. 5 stars. I cannot stress how good the opener was to this show. And if you haven't seen WrestleMania, I'll tell you if you should watch it all, but you need to just watch this. It's 15 minutes and it is so good. But yeah, so Io Sky retains the World Championship. I assume she'll feud with one of these women. Just don't know which one because then the other one needs to do something else. Maybe Bianca will go and feud with Naomi, maybe, or maybe they'll switch brands or something like that. But yeah, tremendous, absolutely tremendous. Dave on the Observer actually said this was one of the best matches in WrestleMania history. Now I don't know if I would go that far because it was absolutely unreal. Like I think it was maybe easily the best women's match because it was better than Charlotte and Rhea in my eyes, and that I'd say is the best. But is it better than like your Michael Undertakers? Like it it made the most of its time. 15 minutes. 14 minutes actually, 14:53 or something like that. So unbelievable. Absolutely unbelievable stuff. 5 stars. Second match on the show was the Sin City Street Fight as Damian Priest took on Drew McIntyre. Drew McIntyre had like a stone, like a sword in the stone sort of thing that he stood on as he came out to the ring. That was kind of cool. And Damian Priest was played to the ring by Karen Kelly of Machine Head. Cool. That sounds like it was a really cool moment for him, and I bet he absolutely loved it. This match here, I don't think people were necessarily interested in before the show, but the crowd were really into this, just like they were for the opener. See, that's one of the things I'm going to talk about on this show is the crowd. The crowd on night one, I criticised and said weren't really good enough. On this show, the crowd were excellent, and they were really into this Sin City Street Fight. And these two men did a lot. They did a lot of stuff. So they were outside the ring at the beginning. Priest hits McIntyre with steps. McIntyre hits Priest with the steps a couple of times as well. Gets some really good shots in. Then they get in the ring, and McIntyre sets up 2 tables on the outside of the ring as well. I'll talk about that in a minute. So McIntyre sets up 2 tables on the outside of the ring. They get in the ring. McIntyre is hitting Priest with chair shots. It was super great and brutal. It was a brutal street fight, and he puts the chair around Priest's neck, goes for the claymore, and Priest catches him with a quick choke slam. That was a really good spot. McIntyre gets the bottom of the stage steps in the ring, and he future shock DDTs Priest onto them. That gets a near fall. There's a table set up in the ring, and Damian Priest raises edges. He raises edges. McIntyre threw it for a near fall, but in the end, Priest goes for the old school, the Undertaker old school, the rope walk sort of axe handle thing. And as he's doing it, McIntyre shoves him off the ropes. Priest goes back first through both tables on the outside. Drew gets him in the ring near the corner where there's a chair wedged, and he claymores him headfirst into the chair. 1, 2, 3. McIntyre wins the Sin City Street Fight. There was more stuff in this matchup. It went 13 minutes, but it was a brutal, great street fight. I'm going to give it 4.25 stars. WrestleMania was absolutely cooking at this point. Absolutely cooking. And those guys really have delivered as well. So I don't think people were interested in that match. And I thought they did a fantastic job. Great match, 4.25 stars. Oh man. Luke said today. Oh, Luke supposed to as well, which we'll be talking about next. Third match on the show was the Fatal 4-Way match for the Intercontinental Championship as Bron Breakker defended against Penta, Dominic Mysterio, and Finn Balor. This match got 10 minutes, nearly 11 minutes, and it was like, just like the opener, non-stop action. It's almost like they've gone, look, we've got 7 matches on a card. We'll get like 15 to 20 minutes. Some of you will only get 10. Get in as much action as you possibly can. It's what the opener did. It's what Priest and Drew did, and it's what this match did here. Great action everywhere. Penta went for the Pentagon Driver, the Made in Japan on Balor at one point. And Bron Breakker just Germaned the two of them. Breakker gave Dominic Mysterio a spear quite early for a near fall. Balor and Dom were working together at the beginning, but eventually Balor was leaning against the ropes and Dom took the opportunity to drop kick him into the ropes, go for the 619, and Balor caught him, and then he took his leg out from under him and started stomping him. Dominic Mysterio was so over in this match, like preposterously over. And fair enough, the crowd like what they like. Fair enough. He was very good in this match. And Penta eventually does hit the Made in Japan on Balor, but Carlito is there and he pulls him out of the ring. And Carlito is going to do something to Pentagon through the table, but Bron Breakker jumps off one table onto the other and spears Carlito through the table. That was an unbelievable spot. Great stuff from Bron Breakker. He gets in the ring, he goes for the spear, he hits a spear on Pentagon. Sorry, on Penta. It's not called Pentagon. He hits a massive spear on Penta. He gets drop kicked into the ropes by Dom. Dom hits him with a 619. Dom goes up top, but Finn Balor crotches him. And Finn goes up top and he hits a coup de grace on Dominic Mysterio. But as he hits a coup de grace on Bron Breakker. But as he's pinning Bron Breakker, Dominic Mysterio frog splashes Dominic Mysterio frog splashes Finn Balor and pins him and wins the Intercontinental Championship, which I had predicted. I was 6 and 7. 6 for 7, sorry, in my predictions for both nights. I did very well. And Dominic Mysterio is the Intercontinental Champion, and the crowd went crazy for it. It was rather shocking to see sort of how Dominic Mysterio, in this specific sort of storyline where he's trying to recruit someone in Judgment Day, Finn Balor is just belittling him and making him look like, you know, the useless one in Judgment Day. How that's got him over. I think part of it as well is this crowd just decided that this was going to be Dominic Mysterio's match. And he celebrated, and he was on the turnbuckle, and the crowd cheered, and he went all the way up the ramp, and somebody in the back obviously told him, like, go out again and do another cheer. Because he ran all the way back down the ramp and did another sort of, like, top rope pose for the crowd. They absolutely loved it. This was a great 4-way. A really great 4-way. I knew it would be, because Dom, Bron Breakker, Penta, and Finn Balor are all great. It was a great 4-way, 4 stars. WrestleMania at this point, I was talking to my friends. I was saying this has a all-time Mania potential from this point on. These matches have been so fucking good, and the first match specifically was so fucking good. We're looking at an all-time Mania here. So let's see if the momentum can continue. Fourth match on the show, we had Randy Orton and his mystery opponent. So Randy Orton came out and cut a little promo, and I liked the fact that they turned this matchup, which was originally going to be Randy Orton and Kevin Owens, which would have been a very good matchup and had a very good story, into something else. They turned it into Randy Orton's 20th WrestleMania. And so Randy Orton came out and he cut a promo saying, you know, it's my 20th WrestleMania, it's going to be a big moment. Who's going to challenge me? Now, my friends had all predicted Rusev. I didn't think it would be, just because I thought it would be someone with a bit of history with Randy Orton because to play off the 20th, WrestleMania thing. And it wasn't, to be fair. Instead, it was TNA World Champion Joe Hendry. And the crowd went preposterously mad again. It was not bigger than Dom's pop, but it sure was a big pop. And the crowd, and the thing this did, this Joe Hendry sort of reveal, was by the fourth match the first night's show, like the second match was already dead. The crowd were already dead. They did not care about the second match, didn't care about the third match, didn't really care about the fourth match until the ending sequence. And then, they cared about the kind of the rest of the show. What this Joe Hendry thing did is it kept the crowd up. The crowd went crazy for this. And Joe Hendry was getting a WrestleMania, and the TNA World title was on WrestleMania, which was preposterous. Joe Hendry was getting a WrestleMania match with Randy Orton. And you know what? They made the best of what they could. Joe Hendry in this matchup with Randy Orton, he was never going to beat him. He was never going to beat him. And I actually thought they did a pretty good thing. So, Hendry, Orton and Hendry square off. Orton gets a little bit of offense in, like the apron DDT. Hendry hits in a military press slam, and he does all of his taunting and stuff. But eventually, he goes to do like the turnaround pose, and as he turns around, he turns into an RKO. And the beginning bit was cool too, because Orton went for an RKO straight away, and Hendry countered it into a schoolboy, and that was really clever. Sort of tease for the fans. And the crowd. So Orton hits the RKO after Hendry does the turnaround, hits the RKO, pins Joe Hendry. It went 3 minutes. Like, Joe Hendry isn't the best worker in the world, so if this had gone like 10, 15 minutes, I'm not going to tell you it would have been a great match anyway. But what this was, I thought was really good. Like, getting Joe Hendry on the show, the crowd loved it. And after the matchup, Orton picks up Joe Hendry. He lets him cheer. He lets him basically showboat to the crowd, and then he RKO'd him again, which the crowd enjoyed. To be fair, I thought the crowd would maybe turn on it if Orton did it, but they didn't. Does it make the TNA World Champ look weak? WWE kind of need to put TNA in their place. So I'm not gonna. I'm gonna rate it. I'm gonna say 2.5 stars. It was not wrestled badly. The moment was phenomenal because Joe Hendry got such a big pop, and it was a great moment to see Joe Hendry in there with Orton. And I don't see Joe Hendry being in TNA too long. I see him eventually coming over to WWE, and I actually think that Triple H did allude to that in the post show. So, hold on, I thought that was a WrestleMania related thing. No, it wasn't. So yeah, I'm going to give it 2.5 stars. It wasn't obviously a super great match like the matches we'd seen before, but it was a great moment. And that kept the fans up for the show. For the most part. The next match, Logan Paul and AJ Styles, they did a terrific video package for this matchup. Just like the Orton match with Joe Hendry had a terrific video package which looked at Randy Orton's 20 WrestleManias and all of his opponents. This video package for AJ and Logan looked at AJ Styles' career. So there was TNA footage in there from early TNA days to World Champion days to Evil Ways AJ Styles, till just before he left. There was no New Japan Strap footage, which was a bit of a shame. To then coming to WWE and being the phenomenal one in WWE, it was a great video package. And it was then about Logan Paul being the absolute brick that he is. Logan had an entrance where he had a selfie stick. Oh, no, it wasn't a selfie stick. It was a drone. He had a drone basically come out to the ring with him and film him down the ramp, which was kind of cool. And AJ just got a normal entrance. This was probably the match on the show, apart from the match after this, the crowd were the lowest for. But it's AJ and Logan, so it was never going to be bad. I thought it was a very good match. There was some great stuff. Logan hit a buckshot lariat. He hit a massive frog splash for a near fall. He countered AJ's 450 splash and got the knees up. AJ hit an Ushigoroshi. Logan at one point hit AJ with a Styles Clash, but as he went to pin AJ rolled backwards and hoisted Logan up for a Styles Clash of his own for a double down. It was a really good spot. But the crowd weren't super into it, but as they were doing great sort of finishing teases, they were. Logan went for the pulverizer at one point, but AJ countered it. AJ, of course, hit the moonsault DDT and things like that as well. Towards the finish, AJ, one of Jeff, Logan's buddy Jeff, who Michael Cole absolutely hates, got to ringside with the brass knucks, and who would be there to stop him but Karrion Kross, who would take the knucks off him. AJ would throw away Jeff. Karrion would give AJ the knucks and say, "You need to use them. You need to beat him for all of us, for the industry." AJ would throw the knucks away, deck Karrion Kross, get back in the ring, get hit with the titanium screwed fist, get hit with a pulverizer, and Logan Paul would pin AJ 1, 2, 3. It was a very good match. I'm going to give it 3 3/4 stars. The athleticism here was brilliant, as you'd expect from Logan and AJ. Finish soured me a little bit. Like, it wasn't a great finish. It was AJ being an idiot. And I really wanted AJ to win this. Like, I'd actually predicted Logan Paul. The only prediction I got wrong was Damian Priest. I actually predicted Damian Priest would beat Drew. I predicted Logan Paul would win here, but I really wanted AJ to win because he needs something. Like, we need to do something with AJ. I think this could be AJ's last WrestleMania. And so we need, I think he'll probably get a match with the world champion at some point anyway, but we'll see. Anyway, 3 3/4 stars. It was a very good matchup. I like the fact that Karrion Kross got on the show because it's in his home city. But yeah, very, very good matchup. Crowd weren't super into it. If the crowd were into it more, it probably would have been like a 4-star match, but it was still very, very, very well wrestled. Logan also had new theme music, which was like just going still humble, and it was rather catchy. So good for him. The sixth match, the penultimate match in WrestleMania, the match the crowd were the most dead for, was obviously the women's tag team titles match. They are also an albatross, I'm afraid, and they are, I want them to be better. And on Liv and Raquel, they've been better than they have been. Well, Jade and Bianca actually had a pretty good title reign. But on Liv and Raquel, they've had a little bit of a resurgence, and on Liv specifically, because of how well Liv was protected last year, they've had quite a resurgence. So they're against Lyra Valkyria, the Women's Intercontinental Champion. Bit of a shame we didn't get that title on the show. And in fact, if you'd done like a 4-way for that title, maybe, like you did a 4-way for the men's IC title, it could have made the comparison between them. Like, it could have literally been Lyra, Raquel, Liv, and the mystery person, or Bayley. So Bayley was going to be Lyra's partner in this tag title matchup, but she got injured the night before, so Lyra needed a mystery partner. I actually didn't know who this was going to be. I couldn't predict it. I assumed it would be an NXT person, like a Sol Ruka or something. It was not. In fact, it was Becky Lynch. And the crowd popped for that, just like they did for Joe Hendry. Super pop for Becky Lynch's return, and they had like a pretty standard tag match. Liv hitting Oblivion for a near fall at one point. Raquel was dominating Lyra until she got a hot tag to Becky, who came in. She locked in a disarmer on Liv Morgan at one point. Lyra didn't do that much, which is a bit of a shame because it was a WrestleMania debut. But in the end, Lyra took out Raquel on the outside. Becky hit a manhandle slam on Liv Morgan in the ring and pinned her. So Becky and Lyra are the women's tag team champions. Lyra is a double champion, which I never saw coming, even if it is only the mid-card titles. Yeah, I'm going to give it 2 3/4 stars. It was probably the worst match on the show. Like, obviously the Joe Hendry thing was so great because it was a moment. This was like the worst match on the show, really. Although I gave that match less, but that match went 3 minutes. But yeah, 2 3/4 stars. This was fine. It was decent. Like, nothing was bad in this matchup, and all the women are professional enough to know what their spot is. So yeah, decent matchup. Fair enough stuff for the ladies. And Becky Lynch is back, which creates an interesting sort of stuff for the women. Becky Lynch and Io Sky is a match that we've never seen. I don't think. So that'd be nice. We probably have. We probably have at some point. But I can't think of when we would have. A Damage Control AO probably. Yeah. And then we moved into Stone Cold Steve Austin coming out and announcing the attendance. He announced the attendance for both nights was 124,000, which is not, I've always said this, it's not how attendances work. You cannot just go 124,000 people attended WrestleMania. No, they didn't. 63,000 did, but they just went to both nights. Like, it's not the way it works. He came out on his ATV and did that, and it was fine seeing Austin, but the segment didn't do too much for me. He also, while going round the ring on his ATV, actually crashed, and I think some poor woman fell over. He did check on her, both before getting in the ring and after getting out of it, but did feel a little bit sorry for that woman. And then we moved into the main event. John Cena going for his 17th World Championship against Cody Rhodes. This feud has been built interestingly. The heel turn at Elimination Chamber was absolutely phenomenal. You know how I feel about that. If you've not seen my Elimination Chamber review, please check it out. The promo he cut on Raw when he returned was in Belgium was unbelievable. He made me believe him, and everything he said was true. And then the next week he cut the same promo, and I was like, where's The Rock coming into this? And then eventually they got me back in the feud with their sort of face to faces. The face to face stuff was really good. They brought up some very good stuff. John Cena's bars at Cody have been excellent. Cody's bars at John Cena have also been excellent. So, two great promo guys built the feud really, really well. I was worried about this matchup because John Cena is nearly 50, or he maybe is 50, and I didn't know how he would be in the ring. And John Cena's entrance, plain as can be. Black, no Titantron, just his music, walks down to the ring. Cody got a special entrance with like an Iron Man sort of American Nightmare Skull mask, which was cool. And they started the matchup, the bell rang, and it was a slow, methodical matchup, which is sometimes okay. And the crowd were bonkers for the whole thing. They were booing Cody, but they would also boo Cena. It was a very interesting dynamic. They wanted to see the moment of Cena winning, but they also hated him. So it was very strange. So it was a very methodical match, and Cena obviously took control. He hit two massive clotheslines, which Cody sold really well. He hit a shoulder block, paused for a moment, hit another shoulder block, paused for a moment, hit the proto bomb, went for the five knuckle shuffle, but Cody hit him and fought back. Cena would hit an AA, Cody would kick out, obviously. Cody would hit a springboard Cody cutter for a near fall. He would eventually hit the top rope Cody cutter for a near fall, and Cena would hit an avalanche AA for a near fall, and then he would hit a third AA for a near fall. He would go for the top rope leg drop. Cody would counter that into a powerbomb, which was really great. Cody would hit a crossroads when the referee got knocked out, but the referee was knocked out, so he couldn't get the free count. He would hit a second crossroads, but again, I think Cena kicked out. And eventually, Cena hit a fourth AA of the matchup. Cody kicked out, and some music hit, and it was Travis Scott's music. And said I don't know why he was there at Elimination Chamber. Don't really know why he's here, but maybe it's a favour to Cena. And he walks down to the ring with his belt, and he was going to hit Cody with it, and Cena held Cody up, but Cody elbowed him and knocked Cena down, and then he begged Travis Scott to get in the ring. Travis Scott eventually did get in the ring, and Cody hit him with a great crossroads that Travis Scott sold really well, just sold it like he died. And Cena went to hit Cody with the title belt while the referee was down. And Cena went to hit Cody with the title belt, and Cody caught it. And he was holding the belt, and Cena was begging him off, saying, don't do it, don't do it. And Cody couldn't do it. And he threw the belt down. Cena low-blowed him, picked the belt back up, hit him with the title belt. He got the referee back in the ring, and he pinned Cody. 1, 2, 3. John Cena is the 17-time world champion. It finally happened. The record has been broken, and John Cena is the new champion. So the finish with Travis Scott being involved, I think because of what we'd all anticipated with The Rock or Austin or something grandiose happening, we all predicted something crazy would happen. We didn't predict Travis Scott would win, help John Cena win his 17th world title and break Ric Flair's record. So that was a bit flat. The actual way John Cena won the belt is fine. He's a heel, he's a bastard, and so we should hate him, and I hate him for cheating to win the title. Um, what I also hate though is Cody Rhodes here, because Cody Rhodes has been so well protected in WWE since his return, and this finish made him look stupid. He looked like a mid-carder almost, because John Cena brutalized him with his watch, brutalized him with a microphone, brutalized him with his title belt, and Cody Rhodes just wouldn't hit him once with his title belt. Like, it was preposterous. So, yeah, I didn't like that part of the finish. I like the way Cena won, though. The matchup was slow and methodical. Dave Meltzer and Brian Alvarez were not fans of this at all. They thought this was a bad match, is what they said in The Observer. I didn't think that. I thought this was like a good match that wasn't as good as I thought it would be. And part of that is John Cena's age. He's not doing all of the great stuff he did in 2015 in the US title open challenge matches. He's not doing that anymore. In fact, if you have a look at John Cena's last few matches, like the Solo Sikoa match, like, they were very slow matches, and he barely did anything in them. And he barely did anything here. It was striking, grappling, and the 5 moves of doom and AAs. And the STFU, which they specifically called it at one point, which actually I did think could be the finish. But yeah, like, it was a very good match. I'm going to give it 3.5 stars because that's what I thought when I initially watched it. It was not this super 5-star unbelievable match that I'll never forget, but it was a pretty good match, and I don't want the super kind of flat finish to take away from it being a pretty good match. So 3.5 stars. John Cena is the WWE champion. What is going to happen? I assume we will get challenges for that title like CM Punk, Roman Reigns maybe. I assume we'll get like an up and coming challenger for the belt like a Braun Breaker or something. Cody, obviously. I mean, I don't know who's going to beat Cena eventually, but probably will just be Cody. I'd like the idea of elevating someone else. I love Cody, obviously, and I think he had a great world title reign. I'm not one of those people who think that because he only defended the belt 9 times, it was a terrible world title reign. He defended it nearly every 40 days. So yeah, I'm interested to see where we go with WrestleMania. You could argue that Night One's main event blew this main event out of the water, obviously, but this was still a very good match. Very good match and a very good way to end the show. So, in reviewing the show overall, WrestleMania 41 Sunday, after like an hour, looked like an all-time great Mania. And after the Joe Hendry appearance, and Becky Lynch's return, and some title changes, and John Cena getting his 17th world title reign, you could argue the moments carry it to be an all-time Mania. Now, I'm not going to give it a 10 out of 10. I'm going to give it a 9 because the women's tag match was like decent but nothing great, and the flat finish to Logan and AJ and the flat finish kind of to the main event sort of soured me a little bit. Outside of that, though, it's a very easy show to recommend. It's only 3.5 hours. And combining this night with night 1, I'm going to give WrestleMania 41 overall an 8 out of 10. 7 and a 9 very easily goes into an 8. And I'm going to say my match of the weekend was very obviously the women's 3-way. Like, I'd watch it again now. Like, it was also probably a very rewatchable match because of how fast everything is. And the first hour of the show flew by. Absolutely flew by. It was one of the best hours of wrestling WWE probably ever put on. I know all the matches were different as well. But yeah, I'm going to give it 8 out of 10 to WrestleMania, 9 out of 10 to Night 2, and a 7 out of 10 to Night 1. My matches, as I said, was the 3-way with the women in the opener. So guys, thanks for watching. This has been Rob Rosslot. Like, comment and subscribe for more. Tell me your thoughts. What did you think to WrestleMania 41 Sunday? What did you think to John Cena winning his 17th World Championship? What did you think to Travis Scott's involvement in the main event? What did you think to all the other matches? The women's 3-way, the Sin City Street Fight, the 4-way for the IC title, Dominic winning his first main roster a singles title. More will probably come as well. What did you think to Paul and AJ, the women's tag, Becky Lynch's return, and did you believe in Joe Hendry? Thanks for watching, guys. This has been Revolver Wrestler.